theory identifies a number of key features that make up a music video, one of which is a link between the music and the visuals. Similar to existing music videos, there's a clear correlation between the lyrics and the narrative as edited clips cut in time to the beat. The lyrics of my chosen song often muses over past memories of the male lead, illustrated in many flashbacks, creating the non-linear narrative which imitates the structure and the recall of the human memory. In relation to this quote by Douglas Rushkoff explaining how I've portrayed visual image through a montage of memories, specifically using the lyrics to make a narrative. These flashbacks symbolise images of romance, which are easily recognised by the audience. I have used similar conventions of flashbacks to Hollywood movies such as Batman Begins. The lights have a sort of bloom which gives the effects of a glow and a blur. The audience can differentiate the change between the past and the present, as the lighting is adjusted when he faces reality. I have decreased the speed, drained the saturation, added a slight Gaussian blur and a light vignette to help create this misty dreamlike effect. Alongside the narrative, a music video also features the band playing in a live performance, which conforms to the conventions of an alternative rock-pop band. Some examples of artists and bands belonging to similar genres as my video include One Republic, Livehouse, Train and The Frame, all of which have both narrative and performance-based videos. The band consists of 3 members, a lead singer, a guitarist and a drummer. This typical setup of a rock-pop group is expected, featuring a lot of musical talent. For example, the lead singer is able to play the keyboard while singing, which is boasted through the performance scene of my video. Another common aspect of the genre is the costume, as the band do not need to spend ridiculous amounts of money on extravagant costumes like pop music or hip-hop music videos do. The sole purpose of casual yet stylish attire is to attract a broad audience and make them feel like they can relate to the artist, and it also shows how down to earth the band is, whereas if this area was overlooked, the audience would feel that they are on a completely different level and cannot relate. Another thing I have kept in mind is the composition of my shots, as I've carefully planned each shot to always follow the rule of thirds, which is a compositional rule of thumb in visual arts such as paintings and photography to appeal to the audience. For example, the shots of the male lead are always aligned on the intersection of the crush point shown on the red line. This also adds an emphasis on how lonely he is, as the audience get the feeling that something else is missing, which is expressed when he hallucinates and reminisces during the fade in and the fade out of the female lead's presence. However, my music video challenges forms and conventions of real media products, as there are no references to voyeurism or notions of looking, which contradicts one of the features of the theory, because usually the lead singer will always have a connection with the audience via direct eye contact with the camera. In spite of this, there are also some exceptions to the rule, as for example, the script's previous videos also do not show the male lead looking directly into the camera. I have tried to imitate this technique to show how he is entirely in his own world, pondering and reminiscing about his love interest, which adds to the nostalgic feeling of the video. I have tried to keep a strong connection between my music video, digipack and magazine advert, representing the artists in such a way that will be recognisable by the audience, as the products can still be related to each other through the representation of the band as a whole. I have marketed the group as an indie style band rather than a boy band, as the musical instruments play an important role in their star image, emphasised by zooming into close-ups of instruments when appropriate, which also conforms to the genre conventions. I have placed the lead singer, who is also the male lead in the narrative, at the forefront of the band, aligning him in the centre of performance shots and also in the digipack and magazine advert. The lighting used in the school theatre for the digipack photos are similar to my performance scene, and the audience can clearly make the connection between the two. I use similar bold fonts on both the CD cover and my magazine advert, and similar dark moody colour themes, which gives the album a sort of house style that the audience can recognise. I have compared my product to existing CD covers, and I have noticed that within a band there is always a main member who is seen as a focal point. For example, in Destiny's Child, Beyoncé is always aligned in the centre as the star. The representation of my band members is also common to both my video and ancillary tapes. I have taken a constructionist approach, as my targeted female audience will feel the emotion of the character. It may not appeal to men as much, as they may feel it lacks masculinity, but my band is directed at a dominated female audience, as it is an all-male band. The typical norm representative of the male gender is supposed to be strong, emotionless and tough, whereas my video portrays the emotion of a broken-hearted man, which does not follow Walter Lippmann's stereotypes. But within the romance genre narrative, the man is expected to have more feminine qualities, so I have adopted a countertype which challenges a dominant ideology. Tessa Perkins has said that stereotypes do not need to be negative, and my countertype is becoming more acceptable, as seen in the movie 500 Days of Summer, and men are allowed to express sadness and emotion. Using SurveyMonkey.com, I created a questionnaire to gather audience feedback. I added personal questions at the start of my survey, such as gender and age, to collect information on which audience my video is most popular with. It seems my video is mostly watched by females, but around 1/3 of my audience are males, which I predicted earlier because of the song choice and genre, as young male bands tend to attract many female viewers. Gathering over 250 views on YouTube, the site has notified me with statistics that my video is most popular with females aged 13 to 24 from the members of the audience with YouTube accounts. After asking that question, I thought it would be relevant to ask whether or not the performance scene was convincing. A vast majority of the audience believed it to be realistic, but a few suggested the actors needed to be more confident and needed more practice with the instruments. The narrative is a very important section as it conveys the feelings of the track. I have asked my audience what type of moods I evoked from the music and visuals, and I have received mostly all positive feedback. A lot of the answers stated that they would sympathise with the male lead and they can see the romantic chemistry built throughout the narrative. I have asked the audience to rate the video out of 10, and I'm mostly glad that the votes weren't too low, but I was determined to meet as many requests as possible to cater for my audience. As the questions were fairly vague, I wanted detailed, constructive feedback, so I provided the audience with a textbook to write how they would improve my video.
There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch.
During the planning stage, I used YouTube and Vimeo to research many different videos of the same genre as my chosen track. I used Blogger.com to keep up to date with my work, keeping track of what I was doing each day, similar to a production diary. This was very convenient as it was easy to use and I could re-edit and arrange posts when needed, and my teacher could post feedback through comments on my work. I was not familiar with video editing, so I searched tutorials on YouTube and started testing out tools on Apple Final Cut Express during my free time to help me get used to applying effects such as cropping, speeding, reversing, adding transitions and creating split screens. I also learned how to adjust audio settings and export in full high definition using low compressor settings, widening my knowledge in aspects of video editing. I have used SurveyMonkey.com, a website which enables users to create their own web-based surveys and collect results through the internet, rather than using Microsoft Word to create a questionnaire, printing them out and then using Microsoft Excel to create pie charts. It was a very quick process compared to the time-consuming methods I had used last year, as I could send links to my peers through email and social networking site Facebook.